On 16 April 2019, two members of the Zimbabwe National Army died and one was seriously injured in a fight with illegal gold panners over what local people believe to be ladies of the night. This happened in Bindura. The incident happened around 1 to 2 in the morning. It is alleged that the fight began in a bar, but it then spilled outside. It was a chaotic scene, one in which the attacks were without exception. The gold panners are said to have been armed with machetes, knives, and empty beer bottles. The random fight ended with 2 soldiers dead and 1 seriously injured. The 4 soldiers were attacked when they had already left the bar. The artisanal miners attacked the 4 soldiers, 3 of whom were identified as Sho Tizora, Tawanda Gwarega, and Pumulani Kumani, with knives, machetes, and broken beer bottles. Tizora and Gwarega did not make it, while Pumulani survived but with serious injuries. The 2 soldiers who were in camp for the Independence Day celebration drills never lived to celebrate with the rest. They were murdered in a brawl with illegal gold miners over 2 female adults who locals believe were sex workers. The incident sent shockwaves in the town. The soldiers had left camp for a beer or 2 with 2 others, Jepson Pue and Pomulani Kumani. They were joined by 2 females, Leslie Chitabura of Chipadze and Nyasha Ngozo, aged 19, for a drink which eventually ended tragically. Tizora, 32, of the Zimbabwe National Army Band Artillery Brigade, Domboshava, and Tawanda Gwarega, 35, was a corporal in the army, did not make it after the fight. The group left Club 10 in Chiwaridzo, Bindura, and moved towards Chipadze Secondary School. But after about 70 meters, Pumulani indicated that he was no longer interested in getting back to camp at that time, as he still wanted to go back to the club to play snooker. Thereafter, it is said, a scuffle ensued as his companions were against his idea. They thought it was time to call it a night. It was time to go and rest, but Pumulani would not have it. As he was being pulled against his will, he slapped Leslie Chitabura once on the cheek and she screamed. This is what started it all, according to witnesses. The gold panners heard the scream and they rushed to the scene and asked Pumulani what was going on. Pumulani is said to have shouted obscenities, and this infuriated the gold panners, whose number could not be established. The group felt provoked and stabbed Pumulani with a knife on the left arm and went on to stab Tizora once on the back and once below the right eye, and then turned to Gwarega, whom they stabbed once in the left side of the stomach, leaving his intestines protruding, and twice on the hand. It was a gruesome act. Thereafter, and in response, Fue escaped and ran towards Chipadze Secondary, where he jumped the wall and found assistance. Leslie Chitabura ran to Chiwaridzo police camp and made a report. Nyasha remained at the scene and helplessly witnessed the unfolding events. She called for help, but no one could come to her assistance. Leslie came back with some police officers and they ferried the deceased to Bindura Hospital, but they were pronounced dead upon arrival. There were accusations, counter-accusations, and denials which followed the unfortunate incident. The festive mood was dampened by this tragic occurrence. All hell broke loose, and from then on, violence of unimaginable proportion descended on the Chipadze community. Soldiers are said to have taken the law into their own hands and instituted instant justice. They are said to have unleashed terror on some innocent residents in retribution. The government has taken a bold decision to ban machetes in gold-rich areas under laws instituted in 2019. This and other violent crimes by panas across the country resulted in the government move. It is also working towards making sure that people who carry these dangerous weapons like machetes have mandatory jail terms, as well as those who are caught carrying the weapons in public. Special courts are being worked upon so that there is speed when dealing with such serious crimes. Police and soldiers in plain clothes are said to have rounded up dozens of ladies of the night from Chipadze and Chiwaridzo and took them to the main police station in Bindura. The soldiers who were in Bindura at that moment had been deployed to take part in the 39th Independence Day parade rehearsals. The soldiers were involved in an altercation with this group of panas when they were out refreshing. The Director of Public Relations in the Zimbabwe National Army, Lieutenant Colonel Alpheus Makotore, said that the 4 were involved in the said incident in Chipadze. Inspector Milton Mundembe, police spokesperson for Mashonaland Central Province, said that the police were yet to establish what really transpired on the fateful day, but would conduct a thorough investigation. The nasty incident dampened the spirit of celebration. Some lawyers and women's group expressed concern that innocent women were arrested in large numbers and they were suspected to be prostitutes. They pointed out that in a bid to right a wrong, to get justice for the dead and the injured, another wrong was committed. It was their contention that the uniformed forces took the law into their own hands. They claimed that they carried out unwarranted attacks on women suspected of being sex workers and on any man suspected of being an artisanal miner. The incident was a sad reminder of the lawlessness associated with the illegal gold miners and the total disregard for order and the sanctity of life. It is a stark reminder that policing that sector can save lives. There have been cases, many cases of murder, rape, violence against women, and the exploitation and theft from the vulnerable. This has happened across the country. Indeed, the onus is on the police to make sanity prevail, and anyone living and doing business in areas where panas operate should be free and safe. The army and the police were driven by the urge to revenge. That shouldn't have been. The search for justice is a noble cause that can be achieved through orthodox means. This will enhance the cooperation, coexistence, and collaboration that has always existed between the population, the citizens of the country, and the arms of government. The police and the army had to wait for justice to take its course. The police have to go on the ground. Such unfortunate incidents should not be allowed to happen. No one should take the law into his own hands, no matter who they are. The gold panas had taken the law into their own hands. They had murdered 2 people who were already out of the bar and going to rest. This was very unfortunate, and they allowed their anger to take control of them. In the process, they ended up taking the lives of 2 innocent men. May the souls of Tizora and Gwarega continue to rest in peace.